Upon their arrival at the front line, they were immediately subjected to a French artillery attack. "Gas shells!" the officer suddenly shouted. Everyone began fumbling to put on their gas masks. Kind-hearted Paul helped his friend put his on before attending to his own, which drew the officer's attention.
Die paar Bäume werden bei Tagesanbruch fast sicher tot sein.
As punishment, the officer ordered Paul to keep his gas mask on. Soon, these new recruits arrived at the front line trench. It was raining heavily. Machine guns in the trench were firing furiously, and shells were exploding all around. These untrained new recruits didn't even get a chance to fire a shot. The first military order they received was to drain the water from the trench. This was nothing like what they had imagined. The icy rain numbed their hands. The harsh battlefield environment delivered a rude awakening. At the veterans' suggestion, they stuffed their hands into their trousers. Night soon fell. Illumination shells streaked across the silent sky. Paul and his friend were on sentry duty when a sudden noise came from the front. Paul immediately became alert. It turned out to be the sound of a dying French soldier. Excited at the thought of killing an enemy for the first time, Paul aimed at the French soldier and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Unbeknownst to him, the muzzle flash had given away his position. Paul was terrified out of his wits. Luckily, the bullet merely grazed his steel helmet. The veteran who rushed over warned Paul. The two quickly moved to a new location. At that moment, French illumination shells suddenly lit up the sky, followed by a fierce artillery barrage on their position. Faced with the sudden onslaught, Paul and his friend stood there, stunned and at a loss. It was the veterans' shouts that prompted them to take cover in a bunker just in time. As the deafening explosions and the violent tremors grew more intense, the new recruits became increasingly panicked, covering their ears and shivering with fear. At that moment, their dreams of heroism on the battlefield were shattered. They no longer yearned for war. Some of the new recruits even cried out, begging to go home. Amid the relentless shelling, one recruit could no longer contain his terror and tried to dash out of the bunker. He was instantly blown to pieces the moment he reached the entrance. Then the bunker began to crumble. The recruits hadn't even had time to flee when the bunker collapsed.